Hi students, today we're going to start our chapter on the Spanish-American War. I'm going to read the introduction to you and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's start up at the top. So this would be originally on page 225, but you can just go ahead and look at it here. So our introduction says the Spanish-American War. Remember yesterday I told you guys that this does fit with our foreign policy theme, and we'll figure out how as we go through the section. Remember, foreign policy means how the United States is going to deal with other countries and how we're going to communicate with them. So let's look at our essential question. Why did the United States go to war against Spain in 1898, and why was the outcome significant? So let's look at the introduction. So one of the best known New Yorkers in the late 1800s was not a person at all. He was a character in a widely popular newspaper comic known as the Yellow Kid. Here we go. Here's our Yellow Kid right over here. It says, for a time, the Yellow Kid appeared in two newspapers simultaneously, the New York World and the New York Journal, which competed to own the comic. The struggle over the Yellow Kid was part of a larger newspaper war in New York City during the 1890s. Joseph Pulitzer, publisher of the World, faced off against William Randolph Hearst, publisher of the Journal, in a battle to dominate the city's newspaper market. Their struggle over newspaper sales would provoke a real war, the Spanish-American War. The artist who first created the Yellow Kid was R.F. Outcault, first sold his comic in 1895 to Pulitzer's World. The comic was set in New York's poor, rough-hand, tumbled ethnic neighborhoods and featured a bald-headed street urchin dressed in a bright yellow nightshirt. The Yellow Kid was an instant success. Newspaper comics were new at the time, and Pulitzer's World enjoyed a significant increase in sales. So yesterday when I was reading through your answers to your pre-chapter search, a lot of you guys mentioned different comics that are popular today. So I saw a lot of you wrote Garfield down. A few of you guys did Calvin and Hobbes. I saw a couple of people have the Avengers, but at this time period, this was kind of the famous character, this kid over here. So let's see what else is they're going to say about him. Not to be outdone, Hearst lured Outcault to the Journal by promising him more money. Ooh. In response, Pulitzer hired another cartoonist to draw his own version of the cartoon. Before long, the two newspapers were flooded with images of the Yellow Kid and became known as Yellow Kid Papers or Yellow Papers. The rivalry between the World and the Journal extended beyond the Yellow Kid cartoons. In their struggle to attract readers, the two Yellow Papers developed an exaggerated style of reporting, and their sensational news stories were soon dubbed yellow journalism. Among these fabricated stories were news reports about other countries. Spain's brutal suppression of a Cuban rebellion against Spanish rule proved to be a favorite subject. Yellow journalism helped inflame public support for instigating a war with Spain. In this lesson, we'll learn why the United States went to war against Spain and why this conflict proved a significant event in American foreign relations. Okay, so yellow journalism is similar to the National Enquirer website that you went to yesterday. So when you think about yellow journalism or the National Enquirer, a lot of the stories are fabricated. So they're exaggerated, sometimes even made up. A lot of you guys did notice yesterday during the pre-chapter search that the National Enquirer probably was not reporting true news, okay? So there's that. Let's go ahead and look at the Yellow Kid for a second. Let's see what he looks like. So they mentioned him that he was kind of a rough and tumble type kid. He grew up in a poor neighborhood and he grew up in an ethnic neighborhood. So let's see what this kid's saying today. So he's looking a little haggard, right? Doesn't have any hair. He's got his yellow pajamas on. And this is what he says. Say, get unto me, demon. I made it in 1 week selling New York Evening Journal. See, look at me back. They also made fun a lot of the fact that the Yellow Kid couldn't speak English correctly because he was from an ethnic neighborhood. Whether that be Irish or German, whatever it was, they were kind of making fun of that too. If you ever Google search Yellow Kid cartoons, you could see a bunch of different examples of these, and they are really interesting. So if I'm just kind of looking through here, there's a bunch of them. If you click on them, different things come up, but you know, at this time period, it would definitely be inappropriate now. You know, some things are definitely strange.